That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
And that means we start with Rain Man. Caller number 5, 1-800-990-3776. 1-800-990-3776. Caller number 5. Then we will have Jason Wilde. And then we will have Tim Van Vorn. The Tush Push, or whatever you want to call it, did not get passed.
It lives.
It still lives. The removal of it did not get passed. What were they, 2 votes short?
Wasn't it more than that? Wasn't it like 21-10 or something like that?
Well, they needed 24, and I thought they got 22. We'll see what Jason says, which seems odd because my guess is I don't know if they thought they were going to. They needed, I think, 24 to kick out the Tush Push and change back to the rule they had in 2005. But we'll have Jason a little bit. Caller 5, 1-800-990-3776. We have Rain Man. And we have, I believe it's 4 tied at 7, which means those 4 cannot compete. Rain Man is brought to you by Cousin Subs. They're the great sponsor because Steve in Milwaukee, who is the contestant, doesn't even need to get anything right. 2 weeks ago, we had our first ever offer. Didn't matter. That person still got a $25 gift card from Cousin Subs. And whoever wins the competition, which we're getting closer, we're only about six weeks away. The competition will end at the end of June, the last Wednesday in June, and that person who has the most will win a Cousin Subs for a year worth about $300. In the past, we have had ties where then we randomly picked, and we may have a tie, but I do not believe that it will be at 7. So, thanks to Cousin Subs for the $25 gift card today and for the winning prize of a Cousin Subs for a year worth about $300. The other great partner is Saganiac Planning, and I got them right after all these years. Saganiac Planning, named synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, and been doing it well for over 50 years. If you wonder, how can they be so good at it? How can they understand all the complexities of employee benefits? Easy. They've been doing it well for over 50 years. Saganiac Planning, and a phone number you can remember. All you have to do is remember 783. Because it's Saganiac Planning, 262-783. Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
And since I now say it right, I'll repeat it. Saganiac Planning, the name's synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, and been doing it well for over 50 years. Joining us now is Steve in Milwaukee. Steve, good evening. Your Rain Man resume, please.
I'm a first-time player.
Oh, we've had more of those. Pebble, go ahead. Or Steve, do you have anything you would like to know that you think would help you? Do you listen so you know that it's 15 questions in 2 minutes?
Yes, I've listened and tried to get in a couple of times, so I'm pretty comfortable with what you got to do.
Pebble, go ahead and pass along.
Yep, you got 15 questions in 2 minutes. I'm sure you know that, but just to make sure you don't run out of time, and if you don't know the answer, say skip or pass, and we'll come back to it. So, because you want to get through all 15 questions within the 120 seconds.
It's that easy. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. The first question is the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question. Saganiac Planning, a great supporter of Marquette. So the first question is a Marquette question in honor of Saganiac Planning and their great support of Marquette over the years. And I do want to let you know that the Brewers played this afternoon and lost, correct?
Yep, 8-4 in 11
innings. Yes. I had to make sure that you're aware of that because it has to do with a question. I also need to I got to check one thing here. Let me see. To make sure that my what I have is accurate. Let's see. Okay. I'm glad I checked. Because I don't want to be wrong. Some of these questions have changes that take place as a result of the Brewers game today. All right, let me check here. I got to check one other thing. So, hold on.
Yes, sir.
No, I don't want to have to apologize for something. And I'm pretty sure that I'm right, but there were afternoon games. There's one other player. Let's see. Hold on one second. Man, I'm glad I did this. Otherwise, I would have had to apologize. All right. Now I'm ready, I think. Let's see. Yep, we're good. All right, first question, the Saganiac Planning Marquette Trivia question. You ready to go, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Clearly you are. I'm the one delaying. 3, 2, 1, go. Who was the last Marquette coach when they made the Elite Eight in the NCAA tourney?
Tom Crean.
Incorrect. Winningest manager for the Brewers, 707 wins.
Council.
Correct. What is the Brewers' record this season with the afternoon loss?
22-26.
Incorrect. 209 plate appearances for Jackson Cherry, or close to that. How many walks does he have this season?
6.
Incorrect. William Contreras. How many walks does he have in the same number of plate appearances, or close? 21, 31, or 41?
31.
That is correct. Since the title win in 2021, how many Bucks playoff wins in the last 4 playoff seasons? Not wins, but series wins.
Oh, series
No,
wins?
no,
Zero.
hold on. I'll do it again. I'll just give it to you as a correct, because it is wins, not series wins. How many seasons has Giannis played for the Bucks?
13.
Incorrect. According to Wikipedia, why does Giannis wear jersey 34?
Pass.
What Packer great was a 7th-round pick in 1999?
Donald Driver.
Correct. What Packer was a 7th-round pick in the 2000 draft?
Bart Tauscher.
Correct. Name a Packer drafted before Leroy Butler in the 1990 draft.
Oh, pass.
He leads the major leagues with a .403 batting average.
Yeah, a guy from the Yankees, Aaron Judge.
That's correct. Minimum 3,000 plate appearances of the current major league players. How many have a career 300 batting average?
None.
No, incorrect. Who's the manager of the Cardinals? St. Louis Cardinals.
Schultz.
Incorrect. Only NBA player this season who took more three-point shots than Steph Curry.
SGA.
Incorrect. 1, 2, 3, 6, including my mess up. Right?
I have 6 as well.
All right. Sorry, I didn't do a good job, Steve. I gave myself a C-. But you should have gotten some of these right. All right, you ready to go, Pebble?
Yeah.
Who was the last Marquette coach when they made the Elite Eight in the NCAA tourney?
Buzz Williams?
Buzz Williams, 2013. Yes, Council has the most wins. What's the Brewers' record after the loss this afternoon?
24-26.
That is correct. How many walks does Cheerio have this season?
5?
5 is correct. William Contreras has 31. I believe that would be 6 times as many. The question that I had wrong, but I'll read it now. Since the title win in 2021, how many Bucks playoff wins in the last 4 playoff series? Wins.
Oh,
I would say 10.
I would say 4.
See, I had this wrong because I have series wins. See, that's why I'm glad I read this. I'll read
series
it again.
wins?
Series wins. Since the title in 2021.
0?
How many Bucks series wins in the last 4 playoff seasons? Zero's not correct.
Is it 1? Yeah.
They defeated the Chicago Bulls in 2022. So that's the only one. I'm glad I gave it to you. I messed that up. How many seasons has Giannis played for the Bucks?
12?
12 is correct. According to Wikipedia, why does Giannis wear jersey number 34?
I think it's like the last digits of his parents' birthdays or something.
Parents, one was born in 63, one was born in 64. Yes, you got Donald Driver right. You got Mark Tauscher right. Pebble, any of the other 7th-round picks? When Tauscher was a 7th-round pick in 2000, there are 4 other players. There were 5.
No clue.
Don't matter. This was tough. Name a Packer drafted before Leroy Butler in the 1990 draft. There are 2.
Tony Bennett?
Tony Bennett and a running back from Minnesota.
Thompson is his last name.
Daryl Thompson.
Yeah, Daryl Thompson.
All right. Aaron Judge is 403. Minimum 3,000 plate appearances, the number of current Major League players with a career 300 batting average.
3?
3 is correct. I don't know how you'd know that. Who is manager of the St. Louis Cardinals?
His last name is Marmol.
Oliver
Marmol.
That is correct. And only NBA player this regular season to take more three-point shots than Steph Curry. It is amazing.
Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards is correct. If you're taking more three-point shots than Steph Curry, you know what, Pebble?
He's jacking them.
You're jacking up too many. Steve, you got 6. I don't know. I hope you call back and try again. I didn't do well enough for you. I don't know. Did you get any wrong that you should have got right?
I was close on a couple, but no, you did fine. You gave me one that I would have gotten wrong. So
you wouldn't have thought they won
fine.
one series. All right. I don't know. But yes, what I want you to remember is that Jackson Churio has 5 walks. He had one last night. And that anytime he draws a walk at AmFam, he should get a standing ovation. What do you think? Can you work on that, Steve? Pebble, can you work on that? Every time he draws
I'll work
a
on the
walk,
ovation.
a standing ovation.
If I'm in attendance and he gets a walk, I'll give him a standing ovation.
Yeah, that'll be a Kurt Gowdy partial standing ovation. Yes. His ability to draw walks is the most important thing in his development as a baseball player right now. And yes, go ahead and ask the manager if you wish.
I don't disagree with that, but he's playing better than Christian Yelich. So
yes, he is. Yes, he is. And
we do have a text
if you remember, Pebble, when was it that I said they should have traded Christian Yelich? Everybody mocked me then. And they should.
I remember that.
Yeah.
He
did have a pretty good year.
We do have a text here from John, the Talking Text, and the Carbless Talking Text line. 800-990-3776. List is more if you want to get your question or comment into the show. John says, Luis Arias in 2023 won the NL batting title with a walk rate of just 3.6%.
Yes, with 3.6. Did he tell you what?
So he says you should still apologize.
No, I shouldn't. I'll look him up because at last time when I checked, the Cheerios was at like 2.3 or something. But I will definitely look to play. Who's the player? The guy? He's one of the 3 that's over 300.
Yeah, the guy from the Marlins. I think he plays for the Marlins. He just played for the Twins. Luis Arias, I think his name. His last name is Arraez.
Aez. Hold on. Yes, that's correct. I'll look up his numbers. Jason Wilde next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
We got a crash on the ramp from Moreland Road to 94 eastbound. Along with this, though, we've got delays then from 84th Street all the way to 27th. The westbound side's pretty heavy from 13th Street pretty much all the way through Waukesha County to about Highway 164. Southbound 43, a solid ride from Capitol all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River. Northbound is backing up from Lincoln all the way up to Keefe. And then westbound 894, they're still dealing with this accident on the ramp to northbound 894. They are just about finished with it. And check on the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, scattered light showers, a low of 44. Tomorrow, light showers early, mostly cloudy, some clearing later on, a high of 54. Weather is brought to you by Infinity Exteriors. When storms hit, out-of-town roofers come and go. Infinity Exteriors has been local and trusted since 1997. And they stand behind every job. Visit infinityexteriors.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
You know, the other day, you threw out an idea of why do we still call the Cowboys America's team? And one of the owners of the Washington Commanders yesterday said, we're America's team.
Major E. Harris, yeah.
Smalls was onto something.
Mm-hmm. Washington does feel more like America's team. Think about it. They are more of America's team. This is a once proud franchise that went through hard times, and now they've found their way again. America loves an underdog. We love a team or a player that claws their way back. And that's what it feels like this franchise has done. During the Dan Snyder era, it was abysmal. It was horrific for those fans. And we also love a star here in America. Mm-hmm. And what star is shining brighter than Jaden Daniels? He's right up there with the best of them.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Everybody needs information on the Packers every day of the year. You go to Jason Wilde and you go to Wisconsin app, ESPN Wisconsin app, and you can listen to everything he says every day. It's going to take some time. Good afternoon, Jason.
Well, good afternoon, Stephen. I thought I was going to be talking to Strofe today. I'm so thrilled that you came into work.
Yeah, we had furnace issues, and my furnace guy and I took care of it at noon instead of 5 o'clock, so all is good.
Awesome. I could not be more thrilled. No offense to Strofe.
I'm sure that helps. And the Tush Push is back. I guess I thought they finished just a couple of votes short. Are you surprised they didn't get it done? Because usually the commissioner gets what he wants.
Right, and there's no denying that the commissioner wanted this. I talked to multiple people in the league about this because I have believed from the very beginning
that the Packers did this at Roger Goodell's behest, and that is exactly the case. And so, I understand the reasoning, right? They don't have a specific one-person billionaire owner who then has to sit through the meeting and have Jeffrey Lurie talking smack to him and creating drama between billionaires. I get that part of it, but I just don't understand. Why not have like a team in the AFC that doesn't play the Eagles submit it then instead? And here's the fascinating thing. I found this while I was researching it, and then I noticed that Mike Florio pointed this out too. So this other proposal that they withdrew from the Lions about reseeding the playoffs, and instead of it being the 4 division winners getting the 4 top seeds, that if a wild card team has a better record than one of the division winners, that the wild card team with that better record would get the better seeding spot. They withdrew that because they didn't have the votes. And Rod Wood, who is the president of the Lions, who had proposed, the team that had proposed that, admitted on the record at the NFL meetings in March that Troy Vincent from the league had called him and asked the Lions to partner with the league on proposing changing the seating. So, what is that? First of all, I'm not sure Rod Wood was supposed to say that publicly, because Murphy clearly issued a denial when he was asked at the NFL meetings if they had brought the proposal at the league's
didn't he
behest.
say that because he doesn't want to look like an idiot?
Correct. He said, well, we talk to the league all the time. So he didn't lie. He didn't answer the question, but he didn't lie. So my point is that, this is stupid. It puts the Packers, you saw how the Eagles responded, right? They immediately posted the photo on social media. There was a reason why they chose a photo with the Packers playing defense. I saw it was pointed out that the Packers actually stopped that play, which I find funny. But the bottom line is that this, it looked bad for the Packers. It looked like sour grapes, right? Because they lost to the Eagles twice. And I just don't understand the league. Why don't just do it yourself? Why attach the Packers to it? I don't think it did the Packers any favors. I am not, I think, as you know, a staunch defender of the Packers by any stretch. But in this instance, I just think the league put them in a bad spot, and I think it's stupid. And I think this was basically a one-year reprieve. I mean, the Eagles doing their victory lap, let's not forget that 22 of the 32 teams voted to abolish the play. They were within 2 votes of the 75%. They needed 24. They got 22. Otherwise, the play would be dead. I would not be surprised if next year it died.
Well, and Jason, I know that you will eventually find out who turned on them, because I think they thought they had 24. But
yeah, here's an interesting fact.
By the way, I will read this because Seth Wickersham, he's the one who has the book about the quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, debate over the Tush push led to a heated exchange between NFL owners and league executives Wednesday morning during the league meeting in Eagan, Minnesota. Multiple sources with firsthand knowledge told ESPN. I don't know that Seth lives by my theory, and that is whenever you have one source, you say multiple sources, and whenever you have multiple sources, you say one, just to make it more difficult for people to follow you if they want to.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't do that?
I don't do that, and I can tell you that I talked to multiple people in the league, or texted with multiple people in the league. Say, look, the other part of that I saw, Jeffrey Lurie, his choice of words was not great in a couple of instances.
They throw the F-bomb in there?
I don't think so, but he used another term that I wouldn't have. If I was him, I wouldn't have used.
Okay.
But, to me, what was really interesting, too, I'll say this. I think Adam Schefter pointed this out. One of the teams that voted to keep the Tush push were the Saints. the Saints head coach is Kellen Moore, who was the Eagles offensive coordinator, right? So that maybe is one of the two teams that they were expecting to vote to ban it, and then Kellen Moore voted to keep it, right? That's one. But I thought it was interesting, and Adam pointed this out, the two of the teams that voted to ban it were the Indianapolis Colts and the Arizona Cardinals, both of whom their head coaches are former Eagles assistants. So it's not like they had some sort of loyalty to the play or to their former employer on this issue. So, again, I think this is a one-year stay of execution, but nevertheless, like the way the Eagles were taking that victory lap, I thought was pretty obnoxious, frankly.
I expect the Packers to do well with it because I think they're going to have their tight end push, right? I mean, that I would assume we'll see even more of that, correct or not?
I mean, we'll see the part of the play where the offensive linemen go very low, and whoever is lined up behind center obviously burrows their way in for the first down. Like the way the Packers do it, they motion Tucker Kraft into the quarterback position, but Love steers clear of the play entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not then back there pushing on Tucker Kraft's butt to help give him some extra oomph. The Eagles play has the submarining offensive lineman going low on the defensive lineman, but it also has Saquon Barkley and someone else that they motion into the backfield pushing on Jalen Hurts to increase his effectiveness. And the Packers do not, in fairness to them, I think Tucker Kraft was 6 for 6 on the year, and that was without anybody pushing him from behind.
Do you agree with my premise that they will use it even more this year?
Well, I think the Packers will use it more, but I also think I think the Eagles will be coming in on November 10th. They may run it on 1st and 10 just to stick it to the Packers. I don't know how effective it'll be, but I think they will come in with a desire to shove it up the Packers' tush, if you will.
No, I would anticipate them when they have in 4-down territory doing it 4 times in a row. That's what I would do if I was them.
I mean, and again, and again, like you've heard me criticize Mark Murphy plenty for ticket prices, and then there was the story about the guy with his 2 sick parents who had been selling his tickets for the last several years who got him revoked, and then he appealed, and they still revoked his tickets. And maybe there's more to that story, but I don't generally side with the team, and when it's player versus team, I usually side with the player, as people know. But in this instance, I'm on Team Packers on this. Like I just think they were put in an unenviable position. And now the Eagles clearly, I'm not saying that the Packers are going to lose to the Eagles on Monday Night Football in November because the Eagles are pissed about their tush push proposal. It's just, I don't see why the Packers had to be the ones that were the sacrificial lambs. I just don't, I don't think that was right.
My answer is because of the draft.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I understand that could have very well been a quid pro quo, right? Hey, Mark, I did give you I'm talking as Roger Goodell now.
Yeah.
Mark, I did make sure you had the draft, so now it's tit for tat. I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Well, and I think Murphy would agree to do whatever, if I was Murphy, I'd agree to do whatever the commissioner asked, given that we got the draft.
Yeah, and I would push back on the commissioner and say the draft was a success, not because of these thousands upon thousands of people descending on our small town here, but because Wisconsinites love to drink outside and walk around, and Wisconsinites showed up in a huge way to make the draft a success. That was not, from my anecdotal evidence, all these people came from miles around to come to Lambeau Field like some sort of pilgrimage. It was locals, Milwaukee, Madison, Eau Claire, La Crosse. Like, it was Wisconsinites that made that a success. It was not the NFL.
let's get to the Detroit thing because on principle, I like the idea that the seeding is based more on overall records, but I haven't studied it well. But what are you playing in this division and that division? I like that in principle, and I assume it's going to happen, but maybe I'm missing a part of that prevents it from ever occurring.
Yeah. So here's the problem I have with it, and the Packers and Lions and Vikings, oh my, are the perfect test case for it. So the NFC North, the division winner were the Lions at 15-2. The Vikings finished 14-3. Now Pebble can look up what those teams' losses were, but this all started with Amon-Ra St. Brown publicly saying the week of that Lions-Vikings game in Week 18 that he didn't think it was fair that the loser of that game was going to be stuck as a 5 seed going on the road playing against a division winner that was not going to have as good of a record. Which, again, Troy Vincent then called Roy Wood and said, hey, would you guys like to partner on a argument for this or a proposal? Which I get all that. I don't think that logic by you or by Amon-Ra St. Brown is flawed. Here's the problem I have. The Packers went 11-6, but they went 1-5 in their division. And if you include their playoff loss to the Eagles, they were 0-6 against the teams that finished with a better record in their conference than them, right? So do we know for a fact that they are, for example, if their record is better than a team that finishes, say, 10-7 and wins their division? No, because here's the problem with that. The way the league works its scheduling formula, it's not all, there are 2 games that are decided by, okay, you finished second in your division, you face this second-place team from this division and this second-place team from that division. It is not you finish second in your division and you play all the other second-place teams in the divisions across the league. The Packers got to play the AFC South, which I understand that the Texans won the division ultimately, and the Packers did beat them, but they went undefeated against the NFC South. The NFC South was a crappy division this year. And all 3 of the NFC North teams, I would argue, got fat in part on their schedule by playing them. The Packers also had the good fortune, and now this is timing, and this is why they say when the schedule comes out, it's not always who you play, it's when you play them. But, they played the Rams without Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Right. If you're going to tell me that didn't help their cause. So what I'm saying is that pure record, number of wins, given those other pieces of information, don't necessarily prove that a team with an 11-6 record that finishes as a wild card going to play a team with a lesser record is getting hosed by the system. So they would, if they wanted to institute this, I would argue you then have to change your scheduling formula to make it even more difficult for teams that are first or second place finishers in your division to play more good teams. And then if they still have a better record than a division winner in another division, then I'm open to the idea of making that change.
And they're not going to do that. They like the way it's set up, how you vary. And I guess I would say as a fan, right. I like it too. I don't know if you can do common opponents as the record that you use to determine seeding, and there has to be a certain number of common opponents. But yes, I mean, just in listening to you've made it clear that it's just more complicated than that, and so you can't just use overall record.
Right, and again, I'm against it. I don't think they should change it. It doesn't happen very often. It did happen in 2010, where the Saints had to go on the road to play at a 7-9 Seahawks team, and the Seahawks beat them. And the Saints were the defending Super Bowl champs. That sucks. But, again, if you're as good as you think you are in terms of a Super Bowl team, it's still a disadvantage, no doubt about it. But if you're the better team, you should be able to win on the road. There are plenty of teams that win on the road in the playoffs. To me, the issue this is not a big enough problem that it needs to be upsetting the entire apple cart.
And I liked it when you had two teams with a bye. When you had the top two were out, but they can't do that anymore because you now have 7 teams in.
And to your other point, like, I do think it's important to do the rotating divisions, because that means every 4 years you play every team in the league, and then another 4 years go by, and then you are guaranteed of playing that team again at the other place's location. Like the Packers, they play the Jaguars every 4 years in Green Bay or Jacksonville, and then 4 years later they play in the opposite place. And you would never see those teams if you didn't do it that way.
Yeah, you can't change that. Thanks, Jason.
All right, Homer, take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, all Packers all the time. You go to ESPN Wisconsin app and just listen to everything he says. You'll be smarter. From the court to the classroom in the community, the Champions for Literacy celebration with Dwayne Wade and Travis Diener will be an evening you don't want to miss. Join Wade and Diener on June 27th at the garage at the Harley-Davidson Museum and make an impact by raising funds for literacy. Get tickets and full event information right now at wadeversusdiener.givesmart.com. wadeversusdiener.givesmart.com. And as I alluded to it, your state, your teams, your ESPN, the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app, a customizable homepage, easier and quicker live listening. Your shows at the touch of a fingertip. The ESPN Wisconsin app is available in Apple and Android app stores. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app today. Tim Van Voorn, Fox 6 Sports. Not next, but soon.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound on 43, a hefty ride from basically Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River. Northbound is slowing down from Lapham all the way up to Keefe. Westbound 94 delays from about 20th Street all the way to Hawley Road. Back on the brakes from 76th Street all the way to Calhoun. On the eastbound side, we got backups from 84th Street to 35th. Southbound on the bypass, backed up from the Zoo down and around the Hale to Forest Home. Traffic is brought to you by the Bud Pavilion's free concert series, Wednesday Night Live. Rebel Grace opens the 2025 season next Wednesday, May 28th. The gates open at 6, music at 7, Bud Pavilion at State Fair Park. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, scattered light showers, a low of 44. Tomorrow, light showers early, then mostly cloudy, some clearing later on, a high of 54. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Highlight your long weekend when the Brewers kick off a 3-game series against the Red Sox on Memorial Day, featuring the best way to start summer, Dollar Hot Dog Day. Keep the summer vibes going into the week as kids and seniors can get 50% off select tickets at the game on Wednesday, May 28th. What's better than a long weekend? Brewers baseball and dollar hot dogs. Find your seats today at brewers.com.
They say seeing is believing. And when you check out what's waiting for you at American Place Casino, you'll definitely believe you'll love it. From thrilling gaming to top-notch service, we're changing the game. Come play all your favorites like blackjack, craps, roulette, and the latest slots. Catch a game at the sportsbook, enjoy great restaurants, bars, and more. If you're ready for excitement, exceptional service, and an experience you'll never forget, then we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
On Thursday, May 22nd, join Sharp Literacy for the 9th annual Unwrapped Milwaukee fundraising event from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 3rd Street Market Hall. Unwrapped is an evening of community, creativity, and food. Top area chefs will create gourmet appetizer, entree, and dessert bites using McDonald's ingredients. The fundraiser will support Sharp's STEAM-based educational program serving thousands of urban elementary students in 47 Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine schools. For tickets, visit sharpliteracy.org.
Looking for a Milwaukee tradition? It's Saz, and for nearly 50 years, Saz's have been serving up award-winning ribs that'll make your taste buds dance. Don't miss our festival-famous mozzarella marinara, the appetizer that put us on the map and keeps Milwaukee coming back for more. Whether you're heading to a game or just catching up with family and friends, make Saz's your place to go. 55th and State. Saz's, where memories are made and stories are shared, one delicious bite at a time. Saz's Steakhouse, the finest. A Milwaukee tradition since 1976.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
Hey, it's Kyle Walsh for Universal Windows Direct. May is officially the kickoff to home improvement season, and now is the time to tackle those big projects you've been putting off. Right now, during the home improvement season sale, you'll get an incredible 50% off your windows. But it gets even better. For a limited time, you'll get no interest and no payments for 12 months, and you'll receive a free entry door with your window purchase. Call 414-410-2000 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tim Van Vorn coming up soon. We have our Discount Liquor Twitter poll question not up yet, but Pebble's working on it. Assuming Aaron Rodgers plays in Pittsburgh, who will have a higher quarterback rating this year, Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers? American Place Casino. Okay, located in Lake County, Illinois. Great table games, great slot machine, sports book, great food. And now they have comedians on Saturday nights. You go to AmericanPlace.com and you'll get all the information. Jay Moore there on May 31st, but they're doing comedians. Join in on a new promotion. Sunny Treasures every Friday and Saturday in May from 6 to 11 p.m. Win up to $1,000 in free play. Just check. They have promos going all the time and comedy, but my expertise. American Place Casino, just a half hour south of Franklin. American Place Casino, just a half hour south of Franklin. Did I tell you? American Place Casino, just a half hour south of Franklin. And if you want to be even more specific, American Place Casino, 38 minutes south of Franklin. Tim Van Vorn, Fox 6 Sports. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
The people there made it a really great trip. The people in Green Bay were really nice, like literally driving ESPN people around themselves.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
The Pancake Palace in Green Bay was outstanding. So really nice trip.
On 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was a really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
There are so many options that are available, so it was nice to have someone narrow those down, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait. Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings. Discount liquor. If it's a celebrate or tailgate when you're gonna recreate upstate. If it's a holiday, birthday, any date, you can save at Discount Liquor.
Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. It's time to stock up for your Memorial Day weekend celebrations. Whether you need a couple of cases, a cold half barrel, a great bottle of wine, your favorite craft beer, or hard-to-find liquor, you'll find it at Discount Liquor, all at the lowest prices in town. Visit us at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow in Maine in downtown Waukesha. Voted best liquor store in Milwaukee again. Have a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend from all of us at Discount Liquor.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings. Discount Liquor.
Check out all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Two Wisconsin icons are teaming up on a reworked classic. Cousin Subs and U-Zingers are proud to introduce the all-new Fried Bologna Sub, featuring U-Zingers fried bologna, bacon, American cheese, onions, pickles, mayo, and mustard on fresh-baked Italian bread. And that's not all. Pair your fried bologna with a creamy cupcake shake topped with whipped cream and rainbow sprinkles. Now that's a better combination. Order both in-store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Brewers fans, this is your chance for you and your crew to cheer on our crew while they're on the road this summer. Visit brewers.com/ExploreMN to enter for your chance to win Game Day Getaway Sweepstakes. Presented by Explore Minnesota. One lucky winner will receive 4 tickets to the games on July 21st and 22nd in Minneapolis, 2 nights of hotel accommodations, and a $1,500 Visa gift card. Don't wait. The sweepstakes ends May 29th. No purchase necessary. See brewers.com/ExploreMN for official rules.
Hey, want to make your next meal a little less ordinary? Well, head to Quick Trip. Hey, we are so back serving up our legendary No Ordinary Chicken. Yeah, your dinner is hand-breaded, fried to perfection, ready to eat for tonight's dinner. Or you can buy it cold, sealed fresh for tomorrow's lunch. You know, we love to make life easier for you. This isn't just any chicken. It's Quick Trip's No Ordinary Chicken. Stop in your local Quick Trip today and taste the difference.
Save big on everything when you shop at Menards. Own the summer from sun up to sundown with help from Australian Gold. From insect repellent, sunscreen to skincare, Australian Gold has you covered. Save big on all Australian Gold products now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Rain Man is brought to you by Cousin Subs. The 2-foot party subs are back for a limited time. Order ham and provolone, turkey, or the Italian special. Cousin Subs, they believe in better. Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. The 3 most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Voren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 Sports, 3-time Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year, Hall of Fame wingman. TVV, good afternoon.
Homer, good afternoon.
Kay Adams on, Up and Adams? She had an interview. I don't know when she did the interview with Matt LaFleur, but they talked about Jair. I was curious as to what your thoughts were now hearing. I think the first time I've seen anybody or hear anybody on the team say something positive about Jair.
Ja's a great player. Quote? Unfortunately, he's been kind of snake bit the last couple of years, and he's missed a lot of time. And so it's hard to play up to your potential when you're not on the grass.
What's the plan there? Is he anything? Who asks about him more? Are you Halfley or fans?
Probably all of us. I would say, yeah, I think that's just something that we're working through, and, hopefully we'll have some resolution sooner than later.
All right, and now TVV, what is your definition of working through? Take it away.
Good question. First of all, I'm going to lift from Kay Adams. What's the plan there? I'm going to start using that all the time. Hey, Padman, what's the plan there? I kind of like the follow-up question from her.
Yeah.
I don't know what working through it is with Jair Alexander. I certainly did not expect him to still be on the roster at the end of May. So maybe there will have to be some revision for a lot of us who thought that he would not be on this team going into this season. I was certainly in that camp. I don't know what working through it means. I don't know what has changed or if they're just looking for attitude adjustment from Jair Alexander. What has really changed? The contract doesn't seem to be changing. You drafted the players you drafted. That's not going to directly influence Jair Alexander. What is there to work through other than an understanding between the two sides to see if they can coexist? I guess.
Could working through mean working out a new contract? What's the dynamics of that? We'd love you back, Jair, but we got to redo the deal.
It could. Would Jair Alexander do that?
I don't know, but that could be working. That would qualify as working through, right?
Yes, it would. It would.
So we have one, and he hasn't agreed to it yet, or we haven't found. So he's at, 14 or 16 this year? What was it?
Why would he do that? I don't understand why he would. Yes, it would be the definition of working through something, but I don't understand why that would be on the table. Why would Jair Alexander do that?
I'll answer that. I'll answer
okay.
that if I feel like it's the best I can get.
I guess. Have you had the feeling that Jair Alexander thinks that Green Bay in general is the best spot for him, or is it purely monetary for him at this point, whereby, if the Packers are going to cut him, he thinks he can get more on a lesser deal from Green Bay than going somewhere else. I've thought from the very beginning, the Packers release him, he thinks he can do just fine somewhere else.
Yes, that my added to that, I didn't think he wanted to play in Green Bay. But if they've now acted like, I don't, it's all about the date. So you're going to release him. You wait a certain reason. You wait to a certain date to release him, right? I mean, that would explain everything if such a date exists.
Sure.
Correct?
Yeah. But haven't these other players essentially been released with June 1st designations, even though it's not June 1st yet? I guess with Jair Alexander, you're holding all along because if you're going to do that, you maintain the leverage until that date so that you can theoretically trade him if somebody comes up with a need within the last week here of May. Maybe that's what or maybe you're just going to hold him all the way until training camp with the idea that some team will need a cornerback then. I don't understand what working through something, if you're going to find a resolution to keep him in Green Bay, would be other than attitude adjustment on one side or the other. If it's contractual, yes.
Right,
you're
or
working
through could be working through all the things we just brought up. If they were going to do it after June 1st or whatever, they're working through waiting for somebody to offer better. If they don't, then they'll do that, right? They're working through the possibility that somebody, I expect someone privately to say, Homer, no one got it. There was no reason to rush.
Did you hear Matt LaFleur say after Jair made himself a captain in Carolina, this poor guy's snake bit? I didn't.
No. The snake bit is new, Iger, right?
It is.
Wouldn't you say it's more?
It is.
I think this is the most positive anybody in the organization has publicly said about Jair in a while, right?
I would agree. Other than, he's a great player. That they've kind of said that enough that it kind of just comes one ear and goes out the other. But snake bit is a new one.
And if the defensive coordinator wants him more, we're all just guessing. But I've wondered why they haven't answered just the way LaFleur did. Hey, he's a good player. And he's been hurt as of late. So, we're working through it.
Working through it. What's the plan there? I do think maybe you're onto something about internal debate. Maybe there's a difference of opinion between, Jeff Hafley, just theoretically, Jeff Hafley and Brian Gutekunst. How badly do we want Jair Alexander on this team, and who's ultimately going to win that battle? That could be what they're working
and
through.
We'll now, we'll give you $14 million, or I don't
see a contractual adjustment in this case. I think it's Jair on the existing contract in Green Bay or Jair elsewhere. Maybe that's a misread. I just don't understand why Jair Alexander, at least, given the vibe we've gotten about his desire to have a future in Green Bay, would take some sort of lesser deal. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, I'm willing to agree to everything because I just don't know, and I have basically said I don't think he wants to play here. I don't think they want him to play here. So I'll admit when I'm wrong when it happens, but they could, and no one has come up with anything. Maybe you've heard it. I haven't. Have come up with anything that seems like I got this. All right?
The one thing I would just throw out in a general sports sense, and maybe it's even an educator's sense. How many times have you heard some guy throw I've had it, man. The end of the season, I'm done. I'm retiring, or a high school kid. I'm not going out for this sport again next year. By the time the calendar rolls around, they're back out there. Maybe or maybe it's an educator. I just can't take this anymore. By the time September comes back around, they're back into it. Maybe it's just a waiting game. Maybe the Packers are just waiting on Jair Alexander to say, you know what? Yeah, I want to play football again. Maybe that's what they're working through.
I agree with everything, which I don't normally do. By the way, Discount Liquor Twitter poll question: assuming he plays with the Steelers, who will have a better quarterback rating next season, Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love. Right now, Jordan Love is winning 75 to 25%. Aaron Rodgers has always been really good at quarterback rating.
Yes, he has. Yeah, no doubt about it. Even last year with the Jets. I mean, I don't know what his actual rating was, but it was not. His numbers are not terrible. I would be in the camp of Jordan Love. I'll go with Jordan Love there, and I would say games played Jordan Love over Aaron Rodgers.
Yes,
99%.
Very good. Now there was some talk about a story like Aaron Rodgers, who said he had some family issues, and some people close to the family have cancer, is what has come out. I feel much more confident that Aaron Rodgers is going to play with the Steelers than any opinion I have about Jair, which is that he's not coming back. Are you in that group?
I haven't wavered for one bit that he's going to play in the NFL this season. The various storylines kind of made some sense for a while, but Pittsburgh always made the most sense. And I would be absolutely stunned if he doesn't play with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hope, he's alluded to things in his personal life. I hope, those things, like you say for any player, get cleaned up in a positive direction. But I certainly expect him to be playing for Pittsburgh. And this is a point, Homer, where people ask me about the Packers' schedule. I think the Packers' schedule, I think this is going to be like 14 weeks out of 17, you're on the edge of your seat. Because you have a lot of big games in the division, in the conference to begin with. And even the so-called soft spots are intensity games. If Aaron Rodgers is on Pittsburgh, that should be a soft spot. That's not going to be a soft spot. The hype machine's going to be going crazy. You play at the Giants, that should be a soft spot. Well, it's a Sunday game right after you host the Eagles. So suddenly it's not so soft. Denver might be good this year, might not be good, don't know. But that's the one kind of sitting there in the middle of December game that would be easy to overlook because it's in the AFC and it's on the road. So you're on the edge of your seat again. I think that this is going to just be a high-intensity Packers season because of the schedule itself.
I think the schedule is hard. I mean, I'm not a big schedule person. You mentioned some of the things, and I just think it's a hard schedule. Last year, before, I think the assumption was appropriately that it was a pretty easy schedule.
It's hard because the division is so good, and then the teams that you get outside the division, you get a couple of, early in the season, you get a couple of games where you go, okay, after the first two, maybe we can make up a little ground there. But after that, I don't see easy weeks at all, and that's a challenge.
I don't think there's any way the top three teams in the division have records that add up to as many wins as last year. 0% chance. Yeah.
Completely
I love when you completely agree. We'll talk next week. Start checking closely how many walks Jackson Churio has.
I know that's one of your pet issues right now.
Yeah, no one's talking about it. It is a concern that everybody needs to be aware of. I believe that when he draws a walk, he should get a standing ovation at AmFam Field.
I was at the ballpark today. Someone in Brewer personnel uniform said, he's ahead in the count. So everybody's paying attention to it.
Yeah. DVV, thanks.
See ya, Homer.
Weekly wager. Wonder if they've got it as a thing. What odds can you get on drawing a walk? He had one last night. Next.
Whatever you do, make sure you do it right.
All right, well, we do still have a slow ride out there for sure. Southbound 43 from Capitol Drive all the way